upstairs in my room one night playing video games with the volume really loud when I thought I heard noises coming from downstairs. I muted the TV and listened closer. Nothing. I resumed playing the game for another hour when I heard it again, only louder. I was sure I heard it this time and was a little freaked out. To assure myself, I went downstairs to the basement where I thought I heard the noise coming from. As soon as I opened the basement door, I was hit with a cold breeze. I went downstairs and saw the window wide open. I was 100% sure I had closed and locked all the windows in the house. I was ready to make a run for it when something stopped me. I turned around and for the first time, noticed the closet door was slightly cracked open. I stood for what seemed like 30 minutes in front of that door, debating whether I should open it. I moved closer and put my hand on the doorknob. All of a sudden, I heard a creepy cackle coming from inside of the closet. I have never run fast up a flight of stairs before. I locked the door and called the cops, who had an unusually fast response time. They came in and searched the house, and not even 5 minutes into their search, I heard a gunshot from downstairs. A few minutes later, they came out with a deranged-looking man, probably homeless. They put him in the back of the car and told me they had opened the door, and the man was holding a gun, shot at them, and missed. He luckily missed, and the cops disarmed him and arrested him. The scariest part was how close I was to opening that door and likely being murdered. In 2017, Mother's Day weekend, my family decided to spend it at a beach house. We were nearing the rainy season, but not quite there yet, so we expected some showers. The beaches were also filled with seaweed, and the waters were rough, so we really just went to enjoy a couple days of peace and relaxation away from our busy lifestyles. The house we rented was shabby with broken window panes and vines creeping up the walls. Nothing like in the pictures. The inside was decent though, and there was a clean pool outside, so we made do. The very first night, there was a huge thunderstorm, torrential rains and strong winds. The coconut trees were swaying violently. The place was cold, and the electricity had cut out. My family and I had a rather quiet evening, and we all went to bed early. At around midnight, I could see through the open door from my bed the silhouettes of two people in the kitchen. It was dark, but I assumed it was my parents. I could see my mom's distinct hairstyle, and she had on the same bedroom slippers. My dad was sitting at the table, not moving, which was weird. I sat up, and as soon as I did, both of them darted towards me and literally dragged me into the kitchen. When I looked up, I realized it wasn't them. Something took their form and they had entirely pitch black eyes. From nowhere, a set of hands began to pull and tug at me. I was screaming, but no sound was coming out. I remember blacking out, and when I woke up, I explained it to my parents, who played it off as a bad dream. The second night, I had a nightmare. The same beings with the black eyes who looked like my parents were sitting on a couch at my actual home waiting for me. Again, I woke up panicked, but more fearful. Although we only had one more night at this place, I felt as though the fright was increasing every moment, and it had something to do with that place. Thankfully, due to the inclement weather, my parents decided to go home a day early. Nothing strange happened at home, and I haven't experienced anything like that ever since. So a little backstory. I am a 34-year-old mom of two. I am also an assistant catering manager at a prestigious boarding school, and as such, I work shifts. They are either early or late, with a weekend on before I get a day off. So, a 12-day cycle, but I digress. Anyway, in about November of 2019, I was working morning shift, so I was up and out the house by 5:45 a.m. I had to put some diesel in my car, so I made my way to the closest petrol station. I go there quite frequently, so I know the attendants pretty well. We have petrol attendants in my country, as you do not fill up your own cars. So as tired as we all were, we had an amicable chat while waiting for the car to fill up. I am the only car there, and since it is summer, it is pretty light out at this point. Another car pulls up. Americans call them trucks. We call them 4x4 backies. This was a fairly new model. After their car was filled, I noticed the driver, a well-dressed, clean, middle-aged man, had gotten out and was rummaging under the passenger seat. He seemed agitated, and I was just minding my own damn business, but was obviously watching him as, hello, alone and bored waiting for my car to fill. This stranger looks me dead in the eyes, and I swear to you, he looked vacant, like he was there physically, but his brain was not in the now. He then proceeds to stop scratching around for whatever he was looking for. I assumed at the time that it was his wallet, and he jumps back into the driver's seat. Me thinking he has done the decent human thing and has paid, notices that he starts reversing, quite fast, out of the petrol station when I hear the attendant shouting at him that he hasn't paid. The man hoots his horn twice, as in a, oh shit, my bad, I am coming to rectify my mistake and sort this out type of way. So the attendant is approaching his car to finish the transaction. Well, this piece of work then proceeds to try and run over the attendant, like as in wheel skidding, smoke from the tires type of aggressive driving, and he almost succeeded. He was smiling the whole time, and I am just in shock. Like, I am not naive, and I know this stuff happens. But as cliche as it sounds, never in this small retirement town. Myself and the attendants are just stumped. Like, what the fuck, dude? We had a little chat about cameras, and if everyone was okay, and basically the whole absurdity and strangeness about this encounter. Anywho, off to work I go, and I ponder about this incident for about a week until, of course, I need to fill up my car again. I see the same attendant who is helping me today from the day of the incident. I started chatting with him, and the convo went something like this. Hey, do you remember the other day with that guy who drove off without paying? Yeah, that was hectic. I know, right? So did they catch him? Were you guys able to track him down with the cameras? Yeah, they caught him in X-Town. Didn't you hear? Hear what? He had just shot some people at his workplace. His business partner, I think, and was going out with a blaze of glory. He had shot 2 more people when the police had caught him. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, and when they arrested him, he told the officers that he was trying to get his gun out to kill all of us when he stole the petrol, but couldn't find the bullets or the gun. This man had some stupid amount of bullets and more guns in the back of his baggie. He intended to kill us, all of us. He wouldn't have been reported to the police as early as he was if he succeeded. He planned to kill as many people as possible before getting caught. I still think about this all the time. I thank God every day that this guy couldn't find his gun, and that by some miracle, he decided to try and kill us with his car, then to open up the back of his truck and gun us all down. I am also grateful that he didn't hurt any of the attendants. They were just doing their job.